If I'm the Phillies, Bob Wankel, Crossing Broad, covers the Phils. If I'm the Phillies and I have the Yankees in town, I'm asking to play a 3-game set. I didn't have any fans in the stands last year, and I know I'm not getting very many so far this year. But if I have the Yankees in town, give me the extra game, please, and thank you. Can I get the gate, please?
Yeah, let's play 4. Let's make it a 4-game set if
Right.
you're the Phillies.
Play a doubleheader tonight. I mean, I don't know. I guess the Yankees might be playing tonight, and maybe that's why the Phillies can't get this game in. Yankees are off too. The Yankees are off too, by the way.
Yeah, it's just a weird scheduling quirk where they're
Twice.
splitting up these interleague series, and this is what they're doing. And I gotta say, this is a huge series for the Phillies. Coming off of a series win against the Braves, a little enthusiasm, a little momentum here. But Phillies, not only is it a big series for the Phillies on the field, but they need people to get into the stadium. I mean, 13,000 people plus again yesterday. They haven't topped 16,000 yet. They really need a good weekend at the gate.
They do, and what I asked you last week. I mean, they were letting people back in for the first time, and you said, "Oh, it's Friday night probably," and then maybe nothing. They got nothing all weekend long. Is the message we're not? It's hard to say. Oh, I'm not ready to go back. The Sixers are selling the place out. It seems like people don't mind going indoors and sitting next to people. You're outside. Phillies game is the message. I'm not ready, or I don't care.
Mike, I don't know, man. I got to tell you, when I go out to restaurants and bars and just kind of go about my business, go to stores now, it seems like the world is normalizing a little bit. So I don't think that COVID can be blamed for what we're seeing at Citizens Bank Park right now. I just think it's a genuine lack of interest in the team. I think that this is a team that's played under 500. They've been the same team for much of the last 3 years. Just seems awfully similar, and I just don't think there's a lot of interest.
I would agree. And my buddy's a Yankee fan. He texts me, says, do I want to go to the game tomorrow? And I said, this is a microcosm of mediocrity. Do I want to spend my money on two teams that are probably the two biggest underachieving payrolls in baseball? You know, you got the Yankees number 2 in payroll, the Phillies number 5, and here they both are. They're 6 games out, and the Phillies are 3.5. Let me ask you this. Which of these two teams has a better shot at making the playoffs? Them 6 games out right now, or Phillies 3.5 out right now?
I believe I saw earlier today, Baseball Prospectus gives the Phillies a better chance of winning the World Series than the Yankees right now. So, you look at the NL East, and I think the NL East is open, right? And I think that the AL East is very good with really how Tampa's played and what the Red Sox have done out of the gates. And so I think that the Phillies probably have a clearer path to the postseason than the Yankees do right now. We'll say we've talked a lot lately, and most of the conversation has been negative, right, Mike? I have to say here, the Phillies had a nice little 6-game stretch. They've gone 4-2 against 2 division opponents that many people thought were better than they were, and they're back in second place here. The Luke Williams story the other night was really nice, and Zach Wheeler's been out of his mind. I mean, the Phillies actually have some positive momentum for one of the very few times this season right now.
Don't get me started on the Luke Williams story, by the way. It's a nice story, but isn't this also a microcosm of your issues? Is that you've needed Nick Maton. You've needed Luke Williams because you're so short in your organization that you're just bringing like 4A players along, and they're helping you win games.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can look at that as a positive or a negative. Like, in an ideal world, you wouldn't be counting on guys like Luke Williams to win games. But, I mean, over the course of a Major League Baseball season, guys are going to get hurt. There's going to be holes, and you need guys that can step in and do something for you. Now, is Luke Williams a long-term answer for the Phillies? I have no idea.
Right.
But he does provide
he?
versatility.
Who? Give us a little background on who he is. Where did he come from? I mean, everybody, is there's a guy who was on Team USA a week ago. He wasn't even on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, a guy that wasn't on the 40-man. He was taken, I guess it was 6 years ago. West Coast guy, a little over $700,000 signing bonus. A guy, though, that like this organization, I think, had some expectations for. He really kind of had underachieved a little bit his first couple.
Sounds like we got Bob frozen here on the Sports Bash. There he goes. We got you back here. You said that he underachieved.
Yeah, he underachieved a little bit, but he made some tweaks to his swing during COVID, lowered his hands. He was talking about this a little bit the other day, and actually has done a really nice job at AAA this season, and the guy that sort of put himself on the map over the last year.
Well, obviously, Maton had a great start. He was hitting like on fire. Then he cooled off so much so that they sent him back. I hope Luke Williams is a great story. The fairy tale beginning, I hope, has a fairy tale ending. I'm not holding my breath. That being said, you are right. They have played. They took 2 out of 3 from Washington. They got 2 out of 3 from Atlanta. But their schedule, if you haven't noticed, coming up is pretty brutal. They've got a stretch of games coming up. They got to go out to West to play the Dodgers. That's not fun. I mean, they got the 49ers. The Giants, who are, by the way, led by Gabe Kapler in first place and at a time had the best record in baseball, and they're still right there. So this series starting with this mediocre Yankees team, this is going to be an interesting stretch of games to find out where this team will be once we get right around the 4th of July.
Yeah, I mean, I think this team definitely at a crossroads here, right? I think that this can go one of 2 ways. The Phillies make their move, or they're going to fall out of contention. And I think that they're going to have an opportunity here with a difficult West Coast swing, and then followed by a slew of division games played in the NL East. I think we're going to know where this team's at about 2.5, 3 weeks from now. Will they be a team that's going to add at the trade deadline? Are they a team that's going to kind of, make a move here? Or could they be in a potential situation where they decide to sell, which I know is something that you and I have both talked about at different points.
Yeah, and by the way, they're going to, I guess you could say catch a little bit of a break in the series because Aaron Boone said today that Giancarlo Stanton is not going to play at all in the series because he's not ready to play the outfield. So this is a team that can't score to begin with, and one of their lone offensive bright spots is not going to play in either of the 2 games.
Yeah, they have a situation here where they can possibly do some damage this weekend. I mean, if the Phillies can win both of these games and close this homestand, I guess that would make them 6-2 over an 8-game stretch. I got to say, like at that point, you're over 500, you have some momentum, and maybe that's to drum up some interest that really just has not been there, for the last month and a half.
All right, couple good things. All right, before we get to the negative, I don't want to do negative first. I want to talk good. How good is Zach Wheeler? And I'll ask you, if they had to play in a playoff series and game 1 came, don't they have to pitch Wheeler in that game 1? Is he now their guy?
Yeah, I mean, the Phillies can't be in the business of saying, hey, Aaron Nola's been our ace, or, we owe it to him as an organization or anything like that. Right now, if everything kind of just continued as is, Zach Wheeler is not only the Phillies' best pitcher, but he's one of the 5, I would argue, one of the 5 best pitchers in all of baseball right now. He's been absolutely phenomenal. It got thrown out there a little bit yesterday, but 13 career double-digit strikeout games, and 4 of those games have come over his last 5 starts. He's been awesome.
Not only is he being awesome, he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball, as you chronicled over at Bob Wankel CB on Twitter. He's been their guy. There's no question about it. All right, now to the negative here. Sorry. Yesterday I mentioned that I don't want to trade Rhys Hoskins. I think you and I are in agreement here. I don't want to. This guy says, I'm sick of you saying this. I don't want to trade Rhys Hoskins. But what other, if Dave Dombrowski deems we're mediocre and this is who we are, he's the only realistic trade thing that gets you something back that anybody else. Nobody wants Bryce Harper's contract. Nobody wants JT Realmuto's contract. Maybe they want Wheeler's contract. Okay, so maybe you can say him. But if it's a cheap guy who gets you something back, isn't Hoskins the only realistic trade option on this team?
Yeah, I think that Zach Wheeler's contract at this point is pretty team friendly. That looks like a bargain. So outside of Wheeler, which would probably net you a substantial return, Rhys Hoskins the guy. And, fans always want to make their team better. They always want to upgrade, but they want to do it with, by trading fringe players, your 3rd, 4th tier players, by trading, minor leaguers that really aren't even prospects. I mean, in order to make a dramatic change to your roster, in order to make a dramatic change to your organization, sometimes you have to make moves that hurt a little bit. And, Rhys Hoskins was a guy that was a face of the franchise type player a few years ago, a guy that I think a lot of people expected to be here for 10 years plus, and certainly has a lot of value. I mean, he's on a team-friendly deal. He doesn't cost a lot. You see that he has 35 home run potential. He's probably going to knock in 100 runs, even though he's a very streaky hitter. You got to do something that hurts sometimes. And if they get to a point 4 or 5 weeks from now where they decide we don't have it, we've got to do something serious, there's 3 guys that they could trade that would truly
We lost Bob there for a second. He's frozen up on us. Two guys we could trade, I think. Reese Hoskins is one. Who's the other?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler are the three guys that
Right.
you could potentially make a deal with.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I don't want to trade Reese Hoskins if I don't have to. But if I want to change, this is a mediocre team. This is who they are. I don't know that you mentioned. Are they going to win 15 games in a row, 10 out of 12, 12 out of 15? Probably not. And if that doesn't happen, this is who you are for the fifth straight year. So if you are this team for 5 years in a row, just hanging around 500, at some point, somebody's going to have to step in here and say, I've got to change it up. I got to change the mojo. I don't want to trade you, but you're the most tradable guy. And I agree with that because realistically, you look around. Okay, Gene Segura, yeah, I could trade him. I'm not getting anything back in return. DD, same thing. I go to left field. McCutchen, I'm not getting anything back for him. Herrera, as well as he's played, you're not getting anything back for him, right? Nobody wants Harper's contract. Nobody wants Real Muto's contract. The two guys you could trade are either Bohm or Hoskins. Flip a coin. I would imagine that Hoskins gets you back more in return than Bohm does right now.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be, if I'm in the Phillies position, I have so many high-priced guys on my roster already. I'm in no position to want to or in no rush to try to trade Alec Bohm. I don't see the wisdom in doing that. And I think that this Phillies team knows it. I think the Phillies know that they're in a spot where they've got to go, and they've got to go right now. So this is going to be a really interesting couple of weeks because if they don't get it done, I think some of the veterans in that locker room know that things are going to change.
And you also have to keep in mind, it's hard to make a franchise-altering move to go backwards when you have Bryce Harper on that deal, right? Isn't part of the selling point to get him here is we're trying to win, so I can't start stripping this whole thing apart.
Yeah, if they determine that this is not the core that they want to move forward with, this isn't going to be like a rebuild. It's not going to be like, hey, let's sell off all of our best players and try to get some guys that have high ceilings down in low A. They've got to completely reshape things, but they have to do it on the fly where they can sell the idea that they're going to remain competitive and that they can be competitive in 2022 and beyond. The Phillies cannot go backwards here for 3, 4, 5 years. They just are not in a position to do that.
It is Vince Velasquez, Jameson Talion for New York. The pitching for the Yankees has been very good. Herman's going on Sunday against Aaron Nola. Nola's been, man, what is up with him?
Just been underwhelming. You look at it, though, the velocity's not down. The movement is the same. But he just, the fastball command is what jumps out at me. I just feel like he and not just me, but a lot of people feel that he's just been a little bit too fine, especially when he gets ahead in the count. He's just afraid of making mistakes, and I think that he's feeling it a little bit too much, and he's left some fat fastballs, and when he makes mistakes right now, he's being pummeled with them.
Bob Wankel, by the way, Ocean City, Mainland, who wins? Saturday, 11 o'clock.
I got to tell you, I think Ocean City's going to win.
All right. Just keeps it quick because we're out of time.
Yeah.
No follow-up there.
No follow-up.
All right.
Just a gut.
Gannon Brady and Mark Elliott, I believe, will be the starters.
It's going to be an awesome game. Both are very, very good teams.
It should be a lot of fun, 11 o'clock on Saturday. All right, Bob, have a good weekend, pal.
You too, man. Talk to you soon.
Bob Wankel from Crossing Broad, at Bob Wankel CB.